Everyone that talks to me gets excited.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the world.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, according to our statistics on lip sync,
Nobody else is listening.
nobody else cares. Anyway, how are you, Ducky?
Oh, I'm all right.
When's the last time we did a podcast?
Oh, God.
I could tell you it was in July.
Was it?
Yeah, July. So welcome to the new season of podcasts. We'll just make it out that we have like
a season.
Yeah.
like we're in any way organised.
I know. Yeah. Well, we are really. I've just said this morning we're doing one. So Joanne's still in her onesie.
I have not got a onesie.
You have. It's like a teddy bear onesie.
It's a dressing gown.
No, it's a teddy. It's all right.
I can't believe you're making me do a podcast when I'm only on my first cup of tea.
Yeah, but you've had a cup of coffee.
I have had a cup of coffee.
We've got a new website, haven't we? If you would like to join us. We were bored one day on their social media. Although, I must just tell you this, Facebook have banned me, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, they're in the bad books at the minute. Big style.
Oh, I tell you what, I put more content on social media or on Facebook than that Mark Clatterberg, whatever his name is.
Zuckerberg. But Zuckerberg, isn't it?
I don't care.
Oh,
anyway,
no, I don't. I know,
anyway,
it's irrelevant.
Because I've been posting into different groups for some reason, they've decided to ban me for a
I don't see
week.
what the problem is with that. Aren't you creating content for their flipping
groups?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's good.
I don't understand how it works. I didn't go into the ins and outs, but I thought, has someone reported me? Or is it Facebook automated? I don't know. Anyway, what we were talking about? Snap my snap.
Snap my snap.
Snap my
Our new
snap.
favourite thing.
Our new favourite thing. So we set up this because if you don't know, I come from Nottingham, and the miners used to call food that they took down the mine snap, and the reason being is because of what, Joanne?
That they took a snap box.
Snap box because of the rats, the rats and the mice that were down. So they needed a box that would have a really snap shut lid. So it was called a snap box.
Solid metal tin. No, it was tin, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like
but
a
it
solid
was a snap
tin box.
lid.
Yeah, so it snapped together.
I mean, nowadays they wouldn't have one of them now. They'd have a lock and lock, wouldn't they? Which is like the same. Anyway, it was called a snap box because it used to snap shut. So they used to put their snap in their snap box. So that's where the word snap comes from. So if you're from, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can write and tell us.
Well, no, because somebody commented
is.
on something and said I had to Google what snap meant.
That was in the Northwest, she is, isn't she? She's in Manchester.
Yeah.
So anyway, come along and join Snap My Snap, and you can put your photographs up of your snap, because lots of people hate people on Facebook that put pictures up of their food. Well, we love it. We love it. Don't we, Joanne?
We super love it. I've snapped my gin. Gin club's been this morning. So I've snapped all my gin and my artisan crisps.
Gin isn't snap.
But there's crisps and chocolate with it.
Well, fair enough. But then we haven't, we've had gin, we've had drinks on. It's something to consume, isn't it?
It is something to consume. Something of beauty that you want to say to people. Look, isn't this lovely? Why don't you go and have one as well?
Not just a beauty. We've had all sorts of stuff on Snap My Snap. We had a picture of me snapping. I was cooking them sausages in. We've been to Germany.
Oh yeah,
we've been to Germany since we've been away. We'll talk about that in another episode. Anyway, what we're talking about this week, Joanne, well, this year.
Well, with Halloween, what are we talking about at the minute? We're talking about ghosts all the time, aren't we? Ghosts
all the time. Why are we talking about ghosts, Joanne?
Because we're doing some ghost walks and general bunkum around Halloween.
We do two, don't we?
We do two. We do one in Upper Mill and one in
I've been doing Upper Mill for ages. I've been walking around.
Yeah,
we've done in the past. We've done an Oldham one. That was the first one we did. But I hope you're not from Oldham. I doubt it. I don't think you've even got this technology, have you? They have electricity now, Oldham, and carpets. That's an old gag. I'll cut that one out. No, we did one in Oldham, but that wasn't very well supported, really, was it? I don't think people of Oldham were ready for it.
No.
So we moved to a nice, pretty village on the outskirts of Oldham called Upper Mill. And
they bit, didn't they? Big style.
They love it. They absolutely love it. And every year, I've been going back, but this year we've got an actor, Kevin, telling the stories. Some great stories as well. Really good stories. There's a brilliant one. There's all sorts of stories actually there. I was thinking about them this morning as I was waking up. I was thinking about all the stories.
They are good. Some
great ones. There's the one about, I love the one about the policeman. I do. I'm not going to give too much away because people have to pay for things like this. So there's a great one about a policeman that was there but wasn't there. That's a good way to explain it, isn't it? There's the Len and Lil, which I didn't like, and then I told it yesterday, and I really enjoyed it again.
Yeah.
About the...
well, we tweaked it as well, didn't we? Just added slightly.
Yeah. That's
just
really,
talked about it,
really quite moving.
I think it's nice.
It's funny though, ghosts. I mean, if you talk to anyone about ghosts, I guarantee it. One is they're really fascinated, and two is they'll have a story. I mean, in fact, a lot of the stories at Upper Mill, a lot of the stories that we do, I've got from people that have come on the walks and said,
"This happened to me.
This happened to me." Rita the Greeter.
That
was a taxi driver.
Yeah.
Who told me all about that.
It's a thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of them, isn't it? It's unexplained, isn't it?
And the unexplained is utterly fascinating, isn't it? It's utterly fascinating. I mean, logically, I think the thing is as well that a lot of people won't share. I suppose the sort of people who come on ghost walks are likely to share, aren't they? Most people, if they think they've seen something, for whatever reason, are too embarrassed to admit it, aren't they? Because you sound like a nutter.
You do sound like a nutter, but if you give someone a bit of space, when we do ghost walks, what's the first thing I say? Who believes in ghosts? And then
we say, "Oh, we do, yeah."
Yeah, and people put their hands up, and some, usually men.
The men don't.
Usually don't.
Never.
The girls do. But by the end of it, because you're telling stories, people will come up to you and tell their stories. We've had one of the earliest ones. Do you remember that couple that came along that had the ghost of a dog in a wardrobe? And I was like,
they said they moved house and it came with them.
And I said, we'll just get rid of the wardrobe. And they were like, no, we like it. Oh. I thought it was a problem.
That was the best of it, when she said she found her husband. It's mad, really. She said she'd found her husband dead in the bath. And then she said I think a few months probably later.
It wasn't. He was still in the mortuary. He was on the slab.
And she was watching Bruce Forsyth on television, and he hated Bruce Forsyth and some ornament. What was it?
You've told the story
It
terribly
doesn't
wrong.
matter.
Of course it matters. We're storytellers. That's what we do for a living.
He
was sitting there watching television, watching Bruce.
Can I just say this isn't part of the ghost walk?
No, it's not. I wouldn't be telling you if it was. So she sat there, and all of a sudden, a picture of her dead husband comes flying across the room.
It was an ornament off the top of the television.
Go on, you ruin it then.
No, it was. It wasn't an ornament on top of the television.
It's better if it's a picture of him. Isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, well, that's that fuck then, isn't it?
Oh, well. Well. I'm just whistling just to keep... Anyway, the story goes, this ornament flies across the room and hits her nearly, and she saw it as her husband always hated Bruce Forsyth. Today you could say was it Bruce Forsyth that flew through it? The ghost stuff. But no, I met a couple of plumbers that came along, real, blokes, and I got to the end, and he came up to me as I'd said goodbye and everything, and he said, "Oh, I'll tell you a story," and I was like, "Oh, I wanted to get off really. I mean, I just walked around for 90 minutes." And he said, "Oh yeah, I was working in this house. I was working for the council, me and my dad. And I was a young apprentice." And he said, we kept hearing this groan. And it was like, it was just, what was that?
I don't know.
He said, kept hearing this groan of this man. And it was obviously a man. And they carried on working and working and working. They were fixing some taps or something. And then all of a sudden, a knife shot across the room. And the owner of the house, which was this old man, shouted. He said, "Oi, leave them alone, like that. And they just quickly finished the job and left. Do you know what I mean? And they said they were really, really spooked. And this knife, they had no idea where it come from. It wasn't the old man, he was sat, opposite, no one around whatsoever. But this knife flew across the room.
I remember that. That was a middle-aged man that told you that, wasn't it?
Well, it was. He was young when it happened.
Yeah, I know, but to tell you the story, it must. That's quite good though, because then you're giving them confidence, aren't you? They know you're not going to laugh at them, don't you?
You always get psychics come along as well, or people that love ghosts.
You do get weirdos on it, don't you, as well?
We've met all sorts of people, and they're always the interesting. I find them absolutely fascinating. When I did Upper Mill Ghost Walk, that's when I met Dominic, her name was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She's unfortunately passed away now. She was a beautiful person.
She was amazing.
Now, she was really fascinated with what I wanted to do, because she was just going, oh, there's a ghost of this, there's a ghost of that, you know what I mean? And dragging me around Upper Mill and saying, don't tell this story here because someone committed suicide there, you know what I mean? And all that. But she told me about the ghost of a parrot.
Did she?
Yeah. She said there's a parrot buried outside the library, and there's a gravestone for this parrot. And I was like, you what? And we spent the whole morning, I kid you not, when I first wrote it, going round the little garden in the front of Upper Mill Library. Do you know what I mean? And we were just going through all the beds, and we never found it. And then last Halloween, I was telling this story about this budgie parrot that's buried.
Yeah. And
this girl went, oh yeah, it's down here. And just went, showed me this. I was like, bloody hell, how long have I been looking for that? So you got to love some people, because they do tell you things. Because I did think that Dominic was a bit mental, telling me about the grave of a parrot. But I mean, I would imagine back in the olden days, a parrot was an exotic bird.
Well, and if it's local legends as well, it's great, isn't it, to be able to include that? And because neither of us are from that area, we're never going to know unless a local tells us, are we? Yeah.
So anyway, so we did Oldham, which is what we developed there as well was Murders, which is your favourite, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You love that.
That bookshop one.
The bookshop.
Yeah.
How does that one go?
Where a young post boy really who worked there, who was a bit lazy, I think he got sacked, so it would appear that
he's got his mate, didn't he?
There were two of them.
Talked his mate into it.
And they
Who was older than him.
He was 17. I think the one who killed him was 16. His friend was 17, wasn't it?
Yeah. They snuck back about 11 o'clock at night, because the bookshops. That's what I love as well, finding out about history. The bookshop closed at something like 10:30 on a Saturday night, so people had obviously nothing to do. Went promenading up and down the high street, and all the shops
going in
were
and
still
out
open.
Of the shops.
Anyway, he shut the shop, and it was a night. What were they called? They used to check.
Oh, the night watchman.
Night watchman.
Yeah.
They didn't have policemen. Well, they did have policemen, but they didn't have.
But you pay a night watchman to look out for your business.
And he said he came down at 12 o'clock and the gate was locked. Then he came back at 3 and the gate was open. So he went in and the back door was open. And he had to push the door, and behind the door, thick with blood, was the body. Oh, we've got emails. Was the body of
Daniel Bardsley.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
It was Bardsley Bookshop, wasn't it?
Daniel Bardsley he was called.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Anyway, what happened?
Crumbs.
I remember that the police were called straight away and interviewed the girls that worked in the shop, who mentioned the young 16-year-old lad just been sacked and had a grudge to bear. They went round to his house and he almost instantly admitted it, and his mate. They got arrested. They got took down to Manchester into Strangeways, and they were eventually found guilty. But because one of them was 16, the murderer, ironically, was 16, he couldn't be hung.
He got sent to prison, didn't he?
He got sent to prison for about 30 years.
And his accomplice got hung.
He got hung. But I think it was something like 20,000 people from Oldham marched down onto Manchester to try and stop the hanging. In fact, I think the Home Secretary of the time, and I can't remember who it was, got involved and tried to stop it, but they were denied, and he was hung. So that was a good story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some alright ones in.
Well, they reckon
Oldham.
that the ghost of Daniel Bardsley walks up and down that little. There's a little cobble street, isn't there, by the church?
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's a
great street, isn't it, to do a ghost walk on.
It is a beautiful street. So what we're doing this year? We're doing Upper Mill again, and we're doing something new.
In Rottenstall.
Rottenstall, where we live. We're doing 90 minutes here, which I am at the moment trying to get together. It's going to be good though, I think. It's going to be really, really good. There's some really good stories. So
some great stories. We've been talking to all sorts of people, haven't we?
Loads of people. I'm going to try and put a bit of history in as well, and a bit of magic, and lots of Bunkum.
Gosh, that's only... What date is it today? The 4th of October?
October the 4th. Can't believe it's October the 4th. Where's the year gone, Joanne?
I know.
We've not done anything, have we?
No.
Only been to Tenerife, been to America, got married twice, been to Germany, and got back.
Oh, I've just remembered as well. We're in blooming Take a Break next week.
Are you joking?
No, that's the dog, by the way, just coming in.
We don't have a ghost. We just have a dog. Although...
No, we are.
We do have a ghost, don't we? Because Billy always...
Billy reckons we do.
Billy, my son. When we bought this house, we bought it off an old lady called... What's her name?
Muriel,
yeah. Muriel O'Grady. And Billy's convinced that he keeps...
He's in the shower, isn't it? He said someone once touched him in the shower, touched his shoulder. I said, with a blooming shower curtain or something.
I know. Oh, that was what I was going to tell. I've just written it down as well. Unexplained. I was going to tell a tale about the unexplained. When we were kids, my grandma, she had like a really good view of the valley out of her back window, and it was about this time of year. It's about October time. There was this unexplained light, and it was just like glowing above the valley, and it went on for days and days and days, and no one could, because they thought it was a UFO, but it wasn't moving at all. It was just like this light in the sky about 7 o'clock in the evening. Do you know what I mean? Just before you shut the curtains, and it became not famous, but like, you know, people would come, you know, that knew me grandma and stuff, or knew us, and we'd show them, and everyone was like, "Oh, don't know." Anyway, Ted Swanick, who lived next door to me grandma, came round one day to have a look at it, and he looked at it, went to the light switch, turned the light switch off, and it disappeared. Turned it back on again, and it appeared magically. And it turns out that it was just the reflection of the big light.
Yeah.
And everyone in our house, everyone in our family thought it was a UFO. And my grandma she wanted to ring the Evening Post up. Glad I talked her out of it. We'd have looked right idiots. Not that we don't not look idiots now.
Although, what about my friend Lynn? Her daughter Ashley. See, that fascinates me because Lynn is so straight. And Ashley, they're not bullshitters at all.
Well, give them a teaser, but we should maybe try and get hold of her.
I want to get hold of Ashley, really, and have a really good chat to her. Yeah, that's fascinating.
Tell our listener what's fascinating.
She literally sees dead people, and she has healing properties as well. She told me a really good story. A boyfriend has a young daughter, and I would have to get Ashley to tell you, but apparently some sort of carousel is in the spirit world a sign of ultimate healing properties, and
a what?
A carousel, literally with horses going round and round and round.
I don't understand what you're talking about now. A
carousel? Because I haven't told you yet.
Oh, sorry.
So, his daughter was really poorly and sleeping in the same bedroom, like really ill. I can't remember what was up with her, but she'd been in and out of hospital, really poorly with a raging temperature. And Ashley went to sleep, and all she could see in the middle of in the bedroom was this really brightly lit carousel going round and round and round, and she just thought she was dreaming. And when she got up in the morning, she thought, oh, she hasn't been awake all night. She's been waking up in the night recently when she's been really poorly. And she was absolutely fine, temperature gone, back to her normal self, eating normally, all of it. And the little girl said, all I could see all night, Auntie Ashley, was you leaning over me and a big light coming out of you. And then when she went to speak to whoever they go to, I would imagine if this is going on in your head, you need support. So when she went to seek support, they said, oh, that's the ultimate healing property that you possess. You're very, very gifted. So it's just really, really fascinating. And it's so fantastical. Yeah. But the people who are telling me these fantastical stories are utterly believable and going, I feel stupid telling you. It sounds like a load of rubbish. But I promise you, this is what happens. That's
the cunning lady, isn't it? Is it Bunkum or is it truth? I mean, if that child felt better, did it feel better anyway? I mean, you're a health professional. What do you think?
Well, I don't know because I have no idea what was up with the kid, so I can't make a professional judgment at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of them, isn't it? And I thought, what makes you believe it to that degree? I don't understand.
But then. I'm not saying that. What about faith healers? I've seen video footage of someone healing in quote, and if you believe that someone's going to heal you,
I think a positive mind is really strong. Important. Really, really, it's massive, absolutely massive. I've seen people literally roll over and die because they've decided they're going to die. Obviously, they've had other things wrong with them, but if you give up, you'll die. And I've seen people say, no, I'm keeping myself mentally strong. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm looking after myself, and they'll chug along.
Yeah, but I've seen people, be bright, be open, and then die.
Yeah, I have.
So,
It's all bollocks, isn't it?
It's not.
A strong mind is... I think at the end of the day, if you keep your mind strong, if you keep positive, you're just having a nicer time, really.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Yeah. So how do we get on to this then? Faith healers.
Faith healers.
We ought to invite her and see if she'll talk to us.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, that'd be a really interesting. In fact, it's on the way to Halloween now. Maybe this is the time to speak to her.
Yeah.
If she sees people, can I just leave you with this last story then? Because I have seen something, and I've told you this story before. I was in Bolton. I went. A friend of mine, Sam. She worked for a ghost hunting organisation that go to old places. They take spiritualists and what they're called psychics.
Yeah. And
they'll take for want of a better word, punters around these buildings. It might be a castle or a hall or an old. It's usually an old place. And experience an evening. I mean, you know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, so she said, come along and just stay for the first bit and see what we do. And this was before I started doing ghost walks. Anyway, we're walking around and he's this psychic saying, "Oh, I can feel Doreen."
Yeah.
This spirit. Oh, it's like she's like a maid or something. And then go to another room and he said, there's definitely a man in here and he's really angry. Yeah. So, and then I remember we were going down these stairs, and before we went down, the psychic went, okay, like talking to someone in his head, and then he talked to us and said, there's a lot of evidence that people have fallen down these stairs, or have they been pushed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Please be very careful when you go down these stairs. So by the time we got to where my story starts, really, you really high and hypersensitive.
Yeah.
So they kind of, it's like them when we were telling that story. We heard that noise. Do you know what I mean? That noise was just something.
Absolutely.
You probably just kicked something, but because you're talking and because you heighten your senses, everything becomes.
You're just jumpy, aren't you?
Everything. Yeah. But you hear everything, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do.
And you feel everything. You go, oh, I feel cold.
And you think everything's something.
Temperature change. Anyway, so I'm stood there in this room, and he's going on and on and on, and he says, please, if you see anything, please, don't be embarrassed or shy. Put your hand up and tell us what you've seen. So I'm just sitting there going, it's like midnight now, and they've got another 4 hours to do, and I'm going home. You know, I'm just going to get in my car, give Sam a hug and say bye-bye and thank you. But I'm standing there, and I'm looking at these beautiful red curtains. You know, those big velvet red curtains they have in big old houses and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's dark, and it's a museum, this place as well. So there's a bit cordoned off, and I'm just looking ahead, and I wasn't really listening to him, and he was trying to spook everyone. And I saw this green light, and I looked at it, and I was like, "Is that?" And it was the green of an emergency exit light.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, has it got an emergency exit behind the curtain? You know, is the curtain hiding it? And I was like, no, that's a window. Do you know what I mean? And I'm looking around and thinking, what's reflecting on that? And I was there for a good 10 minutes looking at this light, and it would disappear, then reappear, disappear and reappear. And I didn't say a word, and I just walked away and just thought, wow, that was weird. That was really, really weird. And left. And I still have, to this day, no idea what that... I did see a green light.
Did it scare you?
No, not really.
So, you know, when we were looking on the internet a few weeks ago, and we found, was it the Enfield...
Poltergeist.
Yeah. And you can stay in the house, you can pay to have a night up. Would you do that?
No.
And why not? If we don't believe in God, I wouldn't. I
because
to do that.
One, it's too expensive.
It was. It was about £200 or something, wasn't it? I know.
You know, and you're just staying in an old house in Enfield.
You do feel a bit ripped off.
And I just think I'd rather go and spend it in a 5-star hotel in Wales. And two is, I'm not really bothered. I'm not interested. You know that I've been on ghost walks and I've had people come up to me and tell me their tales.
Yeah.
And tell me what's just happened to them. And some quite, and it doesn't spook me. I mean, I've done my ghost walk when I was practicing it on my own, and we walked down a railway track in the dark. Yeah. And Kit Dog, who is usually quite cool and just wanders around, he's a border collie, was going absolutely mental. There's something on the side of the track, and I had a little torch on my phone, couldn't really see anything, and still to this day I have no idea what it was. But I don't.
You weren't scared.
I was a bit nervous.
Yeah.
I was a bit nervous. You know what I mean?
But it might have been a human being trying.
Yeah, but what I always think of is I'm quite a big bloke.
Yeah.
I always think of things like that first.
Yeah.
And I always think, well, at least I got a dog with me. So he can at least get a kick up the backside before me.
He'll take the knife for you. Bless him.
Think he would?
Oh no, I actually think he would. To be honest, I don't.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I always take Kit with me on the ghost walk and I do think that they have senses. Oh, do you remember that time? Just reminded me. I keep thinking, let's cut this podcast. I told you this, when you start talking about ghosts, start thinking about things. Do you not remember that we used to do a story in Oldham in that little courtyard about Annie.
No, Elizabeth Berry.
Yeah. who murdered her whole family, really.
Yeah.
That is a good story.
That's a great story.
And we can't tell it anyone else, but Oldham. But she, to cut a long story short, it's about 100 odd years ago. Her first husband died in Afghanistan.
Yeah, in the war.
Nothing changes, does it? This is I think it was the 1880s or something like that.
It was the 1880s.
He died over there, so she remarried this fella. They went to Brighton for a weekend, came back, and the son died. He took ill in Blackpool. He took ill and he died. And then her husband...
She moved in, her mum moved in.
Oh, her mother moved in.
Yeah.
She died.
And then...
Then her daughter got really, really ill.
Yeah.
And then she finally died. And someone... she was working at a workhouse once. She was a nurse.
Yeah.
And someone said, she was giving her daughter this white stuff. And
a milky drink that they assumed to be medicine.
Yeah, and they found out that she poisoned everyone for the insurance money, and she was hung in Liverpool, wasn't she? She was took and hung in Liverpool, and her hangman was an ex-boyfriend of hers, wasn't it?
Who was also called Berry.
Coincidentally.
It
was a nice little story. Anyway, so I'm telling this story, and it's at the back of a knocking shop, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm telling this story, and there's these prostitutes.
There was this one on a mobile phone,
There's
wasn't
this one
she?
prostitute on a mobile phone.
Screaming her head. It's absolutely screeching into a mobile phone.
I think that's the lovely thing about doing ghost walks, because your audience are experiencing life, the life that you're watching as well. So you can kind of, it's like kind of free show really sometimes. But the thing that scared me the most was we was in there telling that story, and the biggest bloody rat walked past. And I was like, I'm not scared about ghosts or anything like that, but I'm
scared of rats.
I don't like rats.
Oh, I think if a rat bit me, I'd have to have months of therapy. It'd really do my head in.
I don't think a rat will bite you.
I don't know. I've had loads of patients in where a rat's bit them.
Are you joking?
No.
So it must be in the house then.
They run in the kitchen and stuff. This is deep as dark as Blackburn we're talking about.
That's horrible.
I know.
That's like Three Blind Mice.
I'm laughing because I'm like, there's a rat in my kitchen. But imagine, it's mental, isn't it? I can't imagine. That sort of stuff does my head in loads more than flipping ghosts and spirits.
Well, yeah, I agree. That's the scariest thing. The scariest thing that's happened to us recently was a mouse broke into our caravan, pooed everywhere, had babies, and
we both cried.
Yeah, both cried and walked around with a fork each, trying to stab this mouse. We didn't find it, and they all probably are living a lovely life.
So we basically threw the contents of the caravan away and bought everything new.
Yeah. So that's it then. If you want to come on our ghost walks, we've got one in Upper Mill on the 29th, 30th and 31st of October every year. So it doesn't matter if you're listening to this in 2028 or 2018, 2012. That's gone. But you never know, we might have time travellers. We do ghost walks every year, don't we? It's our staple.
That's it.
It's our staple performance, and we're doing them in Rottenstall this year, which is just in East Lancashire, just north of Bury and Ramsbottom, and
straight off the M66, dead easy to get to.
Yeah, 29th,
30th and 31st.
Of course, you can get tickets online at hardgraft.co.uk. And I'll shut up now. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook, although I'm trying to boycott Facebook at the moment. So follow me on anything else. You can join our mailing list. You can do what you like. I hope you have a really, really good Halloween, whatever you get up to. And we're going to go and try and find a real person that can really see ghosts and bring it to you, hopefully, this season. Do you like that?
This season.
Say bye-bye, Joanne.
Bye-bye, Joanne.
Bye-bye.
Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Ring